Hi guys.
Hi.
This is the Grey Purple.
Welcome to our channel. And today with us we have another guest, Evangelist Moses Mboka. Can you introduce yourself? Let us know, who are you?
Yes, hi guys. My name is Evangelist Moses Mboka, and I serve at Syokimau Methodist Church.
Karibu sana,
Yes.
Moses.
Thank you.
And today we are celebrating World Refugee Day,
Yes.
and which is why we have Moses here with us.
Yeah.
He is a refugee from Congo.
DRC Congo.
The one and only.
From DRC.
You have to differentiate
Congo.
Democratic
Republic of Congo. Yeah.
Congo Brazzaville.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yes. Oh,
That's true.
So I come from DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah.
Over the time, I've learned to make this land my home,
Mm-hmm.
and it has become one. I left in my country when I was about 11 or 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
10
No,
years
not
ago.
ago, when I was only 10 or 11 years, that's what it was called.
Okay.
And we did not come direct from Congo to Nairobi. We transited through several countries.
Okay. So what initially happened? Why did you leave home?
Now, as most people know, my country is very prone to war and fighting. So in 97, in 1997, war broke out.
Okay.
And that came as a result of the genocide which happened in 94. So,
So it's
The
built
genocide.
over.
There was also a genocide. in
genocide
DRC.
happened actually in Rwanda, but the effects also felt
felt in Congo. Okay.
Maybe I should make you understand that my village borders Rwanda. So people always cross. So people fight a lot.
It's like the Busia of Kenya.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, fightings, war, and people had to flee from their houses. Many ugly situations I witnessed with my eyes, which are still fresh in my mind as if they happened yesterday. Very bloody thing. People could die as we walk. You see the way you hear hooting, matatu hooting in Nairobi. So we are used to guns the way you are used to hoot.
Matatus.
So if they start shooting out there, it's no big deal.
It's normal.
So
'cause if
it's
happens
always
there, we'll
continuous.
run away.
It's
Yeah.
continuous. Your friend will be hit and you don't know. Just the next thing you realize he's on the ground. There's no time to bury them. We used to cover them with leaves. Just say a short prayer, or if you can go crying, whichever way. It's guns and bombs, you're just things blasting and you don't want to stay there. And when war comes, it does not give you time even to take your phone that you left on the table. You leave the way you are.
That's so scary.
So actually it is war that made us live. But in the Middle East, there was some extraordinary things that happened in my family particularly, because if I compare my story and the story of my fellow countrymen, actually there is something that makes us separate, different in the transition.
In what way?
Now, it happened this way. Before the war, my father had a vision, and he was told that war is coming. So he was asked to go and warn the people, the villagers, to go into the mountain. When there are rumors of war, people always go to the mountains. and
The
forest.
mountains are safer.
Yes, you know the mountain is huge, so it's not easy to be found there. Resources are where you are coming from, not to where you are going.
Heading to.
So they will come to loot, to rape, to kill, and to steal, because you left everything.
So rape was used as a tool of the war at that
Oh
time.
God,
Did it happen to both men and women?
rape? My friend, it was a very bad picture. They did it to annoy people, to make them feel scared and downcast. People could be raped in front of their families. You're all told to sit there and you watch as your mother, your sister, or your whoever is being raped as you watch. just to make the leaders feel bad. Now, those are the rebels doing that.
Yeah, and it is not uncommon for rape to be used as a tool of war. Even in the 2007 post-election violence, rape was used quite a bit because, as he says, it dehumanizes. And also, there's that feeling where, because usually it is the men who go out to fight, but if I come into your home and I tell you to sit and watch as I rape your wife, then I am basically telling you you cannot even protect your family in your own home.
Yeah.
So it is very common for that to happen, and it is extremely unfortunate. And you can imagine the pain and how much healing you would need to go through.
In fact, you know what? It is even said that those who are some of those who are raped, the rebels went with them in the forest.
Okay.
They give birth for them. After the child is weaned, they either kill the woman or they send her back to her people.
Yeah.
And if she gives back to a girl child, they are both killed. They want boys.
Also that they can recruit them.
Yes, that's what I was meant to understand much later. I did not experience that, I did not witness it, but it was said, of course, by many people.
Do you know what caused the war at all? Or was it just people coming in from Rwanda?
By then, I was too young to understand. But as I grew up, I went to school, I dug through history, and I understood that my country is very rich in resources.
That's true.
And most fighting are caused by those resources. Everybody wants to own. Everybody wants to have a share of it. And some people want to have the little that other people have. So went in the forest. I myself and with my family, we stayed in the forest for 8 months. But there are those who stayed there more. And people were displaced, separated with their families because there were so many of us. So now my father and I and my young brother were the ones to leave first. So we decided to go. So in that vision, my father was told, you have to live, but not in the mountains. He had never been to Nairobi all his life. He had been in other countries, but not Nairobi. So in his vision, he was shown KICC. And he was told, that's where I want you to go. And then I'll show you where I'll take you next. So my father asked God, what am I going to do there? And God was specific. That's why I'm telling you my story somehow. For you, this is an interview. For me, I'm fulfilling what is written in Acts of Apostles chapter 20 verse 24. If you know your Bible, you will check. For me, I'm testifying. For you, it's a
We're listening to a
yes,
story.
yes. So my father was shown Nairobi. He had never come, asking God, what am I going to do there? I'm going to educate you and your children for the work that I have prepared for. That's what my father told me, that God told him. And for the past 20 years that I've been here, before God, I've seen things happen exactly the way my father was told. So we came in Nairobi, but we transited. We did not come direct. So when we crossed, by the time we crossed, we left my mother and two of our siblings. We did not go the whole family. And also, another reason that caused us to leave is the fact that my father assisted refugees from Rwanda.
Yes, so during the 94 genocide, you say DRC Congo borders, Rwanda, and some of them would come into...
You know, there's a river called Ruzizi. So that river is not very big. People can cross easily, even with canoes. So many people would cross, fleeing war on the other side, until the rebels start pursuing them, crossing the river, coming into our village. And just to find, my father had a very big compound. So they came and found this is the camp. A man called Moka had given them shelter.
So your dad was once hosting refugees?
Yes.
Not
That's
knowing
out of goodwill.
Not knowing that at what point he would himself...
He never imagined.
You mentioned he educated them in the
yes,
school.
my father had school. He He had a school. Actually, he had two schools,
Okay, that's
both primary and secondary school.
okay.
That is apart from his career. He owned the schools. He worked in a mining company. He was not very bad.
He could have as very well been a sponsor. Alikuwa tu sawa.
He had sponsored already children,
Yes.
because the children were being taught by
Yeah,
teachers
that kind
that
of sponsor.
he
Yeah.
pays.
Yeah.
So he was sponsoring, but not in that in
Like
that
he
context.
sponsored
That
children. That's what.
Not from the kind of not the way that word is being misused today. It's not the same.
So he was in between the rebels and the government. The rebels came and said, "Oh, so you're giving them shelter, so we'll take you too." And the government were like, "Oh, you're giving them shelter, so you collaborate with them." So we just had to leave. We left actually everything. We carried 3 bags, 4 bags. My bag, my father's bag, and my brother's bag, which contained our clothes. A few clothes.
Let me ask a question. What made you leave your mother and the 2 siblings behind?
Now there's security. My father reasoned, suppose we go and these people decide to eliminate us, because it's not that they don't know we are leaving. It's not good for them to sweep the whole family. Let the men go first. That's all the prime reason. I'm the first.
But your firstborn.
Yes. I'm the. I have 8 more brothers behind.
Was it safer for your mother to stay when she was there?
Yes.
It was safer for her. Okay.
It was she was safe. My father reasoned that if we go together, something might happen and the whole family would stay.
I think also because in their minds, your father was the one who was hosting the refugees. Therefore, he's the target.
He is the target actually,
Mhm.
not the mother. So they had nothing to do with her.
So you were to lead the way out, and then if you find a place to settle, then they would then come and join
Yes,
you.
yes. Instead of coming all of us and then we come and get stranded, our entire family.
Mhm.
So that's why we left mom and my young brother and sister behind, and I came with dad with my brother.
Okay.
So we transited after Congo. We went into Rwanda, stayed there for a year, and then mom joined us. A year or 2 years, and then mom joined us with the 2 children. So after that, we transited again. My father, my brother, and I, from Kigali to Uganda.
So again, you left your
Again,
mom.
we left mom there.
Uh-huh.
So now the transition from Uganda to Nairobi, mom did not come. So dad told mom, we'll have to remain there until we reach Nairobi.
Okay.
So now we came.
So now what happened when you go to Kenya?
So now, when we transited from Uganda now into Kenya, at the border, at the Busia border, my father asked first for direction because he did not know. So we were told that bus that you will board will leave you in Nairobi. We never knew any street in Nairobi, any other, we just knew Nairobi. So when we reached Nairobi, we first have to go and register at the UNHCR.
What do they check when you're at the border? Because for the rest of the documents. So they don't
traveling
ask you.
documents.
They don't ask you because there's usually that form you fill. How long will you be staying here?
Nah.
etc.
Maybe in those days they were never considering those. But recently you have to. You have to state why you're going into another country. So it is at the Busia border that we were told about the direction. My father had gathered some information that you have to be registered through the UNHCR. UNHCR is global. So we were directed and we got to the UNHCR. That was on a Friday. We got there at 6. Yeah. Very late. Offices were closed and
On a Friday?
Yes.
Watu washaenda nyumbani.
So at that time, we had no other way.
And we know UNHCR covers the whole world. Was the same done in these countries that you've been before? Was the same done in Rwanda? Was the same done in Uganda? Or how was it different?
In Uganda, I told you we stayed there for a few months, like 4 months.
Did you register with the UNHCR?
So we did not register with UNHCR.
Not even in Rwanda.
Why? Because my father said he was told to go to Nairobi.
Okay.
So all these other countries, no registrations that were needed. We only had documents. Now, I was a kid, of course, I did not need any documents, but my father had valid documents in every that could defend him in any country, every country. So now in Kenya, we do not have documents that will validate us. That's why we were directed to the UNHCR. So offices were closed, we had nowhere to go. So we spent a night outside the gate. There was a very big tree out there, so under the tree. That became our bedroom for 3 days.
So Friday night, Saturday night,
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, waiting for Monday for people to come in the office. Of course, that one was luxury to us compared to the 8 months in the forest. When they came, on Monday now, on Monday we were registered. And the UNHCR, the documents we were given, by that time it was an A4 paper.
Yeah.
It's called a mandate. It got the details of a person, just the way the ID do. Now, the registrar at UNHCR explained to us the difference between a refugee and an asylum seeker. So, asylum seeker is somebody who is not a refugee, a foreigner who is not registered. A refugee is now registered and is recognized and have got documentation.
Yes.
So we were told, we were asked, so after you leave this place, where we go, because we see you with bags. He said, we are expecting you to tell us. And we were told there are no, we don't offer shelter, no food, no anything. We just register you, and then you go live a life. So, but we were told there's another option. If you have nowhere to go, then you can go to the camp. There are 2 major camps here, Kakuma and Dadaab. So we were referred to Kakuma. We were told you can go to Kakuma. There are advantages of being in the refugees being in a camp. There is hope for them to be resettled in any country abroad. So now, while abroad, that's where they get benefits. But if you don't want to go to the camp, then everything is upon you. Because in the camp you'll be given a tent, you'll be given relief food, and when you fall sick, at least there is a health officer who attends to you.
And you will also have access to education.
And also to education.
Yeah, there's a misconception, or you'll tell us if it's true or not, that refugees are given a severance package by the government. Kuna tu pesa wanaenda mahali wanapewa kila mwezi.
Hata na hiyo UNHCR, because
Hata na hiyo UNHCR.
there's this assumption that wasudi wako na pesa sana.
Yes. So tell us, is it true?
Well, I don't know how much that true is, but I'll speak what I know on my behalf. As long as I've been here, I've never seen UNHCR or the government giving us money for anything. As I told you, UNHCR will only assist you if you accept to go to the camp. But if you choose to live in the city, everything else depends on you.
You sort yourself
So
out.
nothing is being given by anyone. So my father claimed again, he told that registrar, as if the registrar will understand. In my dream, in my vision, I was shown a very tall building called KCC, not a tent. So what am I going to do there? But again, he was, our registration took place very fast in one day, something that does not happen again.
Yeah, usually it's not a quick process.
It's not a quick. So you were given that mandate. It's a full scope. So you see, it's a very big document that you cannot keep on carrying. Once you lose that, again, you go back to square one. So we
And it's a piece of paper.
yes, so we had to laminate it. Now you imagine we shall laminate. How will you work?
That covers the whole family.
No, only yes. Actually, by then, since we were below 18, anyone who is below 18
It's covered by
is
the
covered by the
adult.
family. So when you attain 18 years, you are kicked out of that document and you're quiet.
So otherwise kila mtu anatembea na A4 laminated yake.
So you can imagine. When you see me walking with a bag, nile kuzoea tu yani. We've been used carrying bags because of the big document that we've been carrying.
For your own safety.
Yes.
So when, as a refugee, there are rights that refugees have. One of them, very important, is non-refoulement, where a country cannot force you to go back to your country as a refugee. if you're going to be repatriated or sent back home, it has to be out of your own volition.
Voluntary.
There are other rights such as the right to health, the right to education, the right to earn a living, the right to marry. He will tell us about that. And freedom of movement, and choice of citizenship. You have a right to get citizenship through naturalization. So as we go on with the story, he'll tell us more about whether these rights are on paper ama kwa ground. Little bit different. So tell us, yes, you're now in Nairobi, you've gotten your mandate, your papers, you have them.
Yes.
Do you still carry the mandate with you?
No.
What are you currently
We are
using?
very grateful to this old man called Modi Awori. By then he was the vice president, who saw it a burden for people to be working with an ammunition FOB. Every time we are arrested, wapi kitambulisho? Instead of going into a wallet, you're putting a bag, that's not a whole document. So he came up with an idea, why don't we create documents for these people that are smaller size like our own. They're called alien card. And that's the ones that we work. I will show you a copy if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So it's almost it almost looks like yours, but it has some differences. So this one is called an alien card. The only difference that it has with your ID is that it's renewable. It can expire. In fact, mine will expire next year.
Yes, I can see
So you
that.
renew after how long?
4 years.
Oh, 2016, 2021.
So this is what it looks like. We'll take a closer photo.
Tuonyesha date of birth na that is usually. I mean, you don't mind.
No, we'll like.
Why should I hide?
Oh.
What's that?
Most people do. Anyway, it's good to ask.
I have no reason to hide.
Yeah. Okay. We'll take a photo of that and
Alright.
then see.
Yeah, thank you.
So now these documents, after we were given, now we are safe. Back then, we could hardly access mobile money. We could not access banking. Even movement was a problem because in fact, I was surprised that not every officer recognized that.
Yeah, of course, I don't think not
And
all of them.
they asked, what is this? In fact, you become suspicious. They cannot leave you. So with this, you just show them.
I'm sure they won't even.
Once they see this,
That's it.
there's
They,
no other
they
option.
notice the seal.
Yes. So
Inaitwa seal ama ni government what?
Coat of arms.
Yeah, they see the coat of arms.
So with this now, it answers many things. We have freedom to movement. We can do banking, mobile money, all that. Now, where this cannot maybe be of much help is in the case of employment.
Okay.
Employment now requires a what? A working permit. For a foreigner to get a work permit in a foreign country, he's being asked for a passport.
Wow.
Okay.
Now, this is what the government gave us. Asking me for a passport is sending me back to the embassy, sending me back to the immigration office, which again is a process that will take years.
But
And-
we also go through the same. We go
Yes, but the fact that you will come and say, I'm Congolese, you have to leave thousands there, my
Yeah.
friend.
The reason why that might be a big challenge, especially for a refugee, this is someone who is seeking asylum. This is someone who has run away from home. So asking them to go to the embassy to get a passport, you don't know exactly on what terms they left their country. You don't know what they're running away from. So you might actually be putting them in harm's way by requiring a passport of them. Some of the documentation that they may be asked, how sure are we that you're from DRC Congo? Provide your birth certificate.
Certificate,
Did you have time to carry your birth certificate while you are running away?
Four of us, the top 4 children of my parents, we don't have birth certificate. Everything else we need.
You see.
I think our permit should just suffice. The government should provide that. You've already verified that I'm a refugee and confirmed me. So what again are you asking? Why are you asking for a passport?
And I know this has been a challenge for quite a number of years because I've heard of this story for years. I don't know what the government has to say about this. Maybe why that restriction is in place.
This document, the government should make people aware that there are these document and they are valid.
Uh-huh.
Because there are some institutions that do not really recognize
They don't
it at all.
recognize it. Okay.
So there's need for massive awareness.
Yes. So this one answers some questions, but it leaves some others out. Education-wise,
Yeah, let's go back. Let's backtrack a bit
yes.
to education. How did you get an education? You said when you got into the country, how old were you?
I was between 10 and 11.
Okay.
10 and 11.
So how did you continue with your education?
It was another problem.
Uh-huh.
In all the countries that I have, in Rwanda and Congo where I have studied, early primary, we learn French.
Okay.
So from French to this place now, I left Rwanda when I was in class 4. So when I got here, I did not even know how to read English or to write or to speak.
Wow.
So not myself, not only me, my brother and many other children, refugees now, Rwandese and Congolese, who were supposed to go to school. No matter how old you are, you go back to class 1. Why? Because you don't know the language.
Yeah, so you need to start
Yes.
at a very basic level.
So we from the UNHCR, somebody again, since we did not know where we were going, somebody again told us, now the registrar told us, there's a place called CANON. There's a parish there. There are so many Congolese. Perhaps you'll find some of the people you know there, but you will also find help. They will educate the children, and once in a while, you're given food.
How was it like to school at that age in class 1? Were you bullied? How was the experience like?
Because you feel unusual. You're learning with kids, but those kids again they beat you in exams. That is because you cannot read. You cannot.
Yeah.
So for the first 2 terms, they were beating us terribly. But from class 2, I could show you my report from.
Were you bullied?
No.
Okay.
No, we actually felt depressed because we were learning with kids. In fact, that better me and my brother. There were some who had beards. Even holding a pen was a total fiasco. They never went to school.
They never went to school.
Yes.
So this is the first thing they're getting access
So
to.
actually for us it was easy because at 10 years, you're not very old and not very young. So learning is very quick.
Yeah.
So by the time we were in class 2, my English was flowing. Personally, I've never fallen sick since I was young.
Huh?
Yes. Just headache or...
The things that don't need you to go to the
Yes,
hospital.
yes.
Wow.
And not me alone, my entire family.
Okay.
So we really don't know, we don't have a clear story of whether health funds are being given or not. But what I know is when a mother is delivering.
Oh, I was about to ask the
Yes,
same.
that's where now they come in. Now there's a specific hospital that I get, specific, not any, that you will have to go for them to pay.
Who is them?
Now them is the NGO now, the UN now,
Oh,
in collaboration with the Coyote Mission.
All right. So usually the UNHCR does not operate by itself. It works with several NGOs on the ground who are, work closely with the refugees to implement the work of the UN. So that is what he's speaking about. And we will leave links to those NGOs, some of the NGOs that we are aware of. Yeah, but there are several.
But when I say those funds come from UN, I really don't mean, I don't know how they escalate. But there are several NGOs that operate under UN. So there is the one called Mapendo, other one called Hayes.
Yes.
Yes. Now these NGOs are the ones that now work on the ground instead of UN.
Yes.
So in such an instance where a mother needs to deliver, it's not the UN that comes. So let us not have it in mind that he did not say UN does not give money, yet it does.
Yes.
Then he said it does.
Yeah.
No.
just to explain, the funding
Yes.
of these NGOs is not necessarily
The
from
UNHCR.
the UN
Or the government.
or the government.
Yes.
A lot of times NGOs are funded by independent donors. Some countries, some Western countries fund NGOs, and there are various ways in which they are funded, and it's not necessarily that UNHCR will come and give them money. Actually, I doubt that they do. It's only that because UNHCR is mandated with refugees across the world, they need to work together as partners.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yes. So in around Eastlands, all women are directed at Mama Lucy. If you feel that it's not good for you there, it's upon you now to go where you want at your own expense.
Okay.
Yes.
That's good enough.
But again, serious diseases which cannot be handled at that hospital again becomes a burden on yourself.
There's only so much they can do.
Yes.
So much they can cover.
Yes. So when it becomes serious, you just surrender yourself to God. Because otherwise, what else will you do? You cannot afford to go to Aga Khan or Nairobi Hospital.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, legally, I remember the registrar showed us a document that stated whenever you are arrested for, especially you are accused of terrorism or lack of documentation, of course you can lose your ID or something like that. You need to contact us, which means there are some legal measures that we can get, but not if you commit a crime. If you're arrested out of crime, you sort yourself. No lawyer will ever come.
Okay.
So a lawyer will be sent only on the two bases: terrorism or registration. So on terrorism, the UN have to clarify that this person will register. I remember there's a time I was arrested when I was a teenager. I was arrested because I had lost that paper.
The mandate.
Yes, yes. No, I had not lost, but I did not carry it.
I'm ready to be hired.
Okay, I did not carry it. So the moment I told that officer that before you take me, because we were told once you are arrested, tell that officer that you need to make a phone call. So there is a number that our father now made sure even if we don't catch anything in school, we have to catch it. Yes. So we memorized that number, and I was able to tell that officer, my name is so I'm not Kenyan, and I need to call this number because you have arrested me without my identification, and I have it. So having had that, he had to release me again. Apart from that incident, again, I've never been arrested again. I did not break the law for anything. So legally,
Nothing that you've been caught for.
no, I don't think.
What are you driving?
And I don't think I will.
Okay.
But if you're a good person, you will not even need a lawyer. Why? But you will only need one when you want to do business and all that.
Okay.
So those who do business, they engage lawyers at their own expense.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you said you're a good person, you wouldn't need a lawyer. I was sure that some lawyer watching this is side-eyeing us like,
Please.
Well,
I think I went to law school for this.
yeah. Okay, so
yeah.
with that story and your life, and I wish that one day maybe we'll get your mom's side of the story, how it felt having to be left behind, so that the husband and
Your
the
children.
sons can move forward and pave the way. Hopefully we'll get her perspective. What is it that you can tell Kenyans with, we've had a small, we remember in the 2007-2008 post-election, we know what violence can look like. Because there are Kenyans who are displaced, some of them still are to this day, some of them still haven't got their poverty back. Some had to run away to countries like Uganda, right? Many were killed, many were raped. What can you tell Kenyans? Because we have an election coming up in
2022.
In 2022, in 2 years. It seems like it's far, but politicians started campaigning 3 years ago.
I think immediately they
Immediately they got into
occupied their
office,
offices.
they just started campaigning again. And there's a lot of politics flare-ups going on. Actually, Corona is the one that has quieted things down, but I bet you very soon those demons will wake up again.
Yep.
So what is it that you can say to Kenyans about how we conduct ourselves and about being a refugee?
Well, I will say this. Kenya is a small country. And we have 42 tribes here, right? 42. My country have got more than 150 tribes. And those 150 tribes rarely fight among themselves. The fighting that come in my country is external.
It's fueled by external
Yes,
forces.
fueled by external people. Now, the few greedy, the few of us who are greedy are the one who will cause fight. But what am I trying to say? Kenya is a small country. We are 152, but we don't fight on tribal basis. Kenyans are good people. I have stayed here for more than 20 years. I have had fathers and mothers, brothers and sisters in this country. And God willing, I will have a wife from this country. So
Send in your CV.
what I am today is because of this country. So if only Kenyans can fight tribalism, and then that tribalism, once it is fought, you bring in what we call unity. Now, if you have love, the way you have love for foreigners, the way you have been kind to me, as the Bible commands, to welcome strangers and do them good. If you do all those, fight tribalism, be united, and have love, no matter, even if the whole world is sinking, the head of Kenya will always float above the waters. Mostly because you have welcomed foreigners and you have done them good.
Amen.
So we only have a small weakness of tribalism. So if only we can fight that, everything else will flow.
Yeah, and even with in our country, tribalism is used to fight an agenda, if I can say so. Because every 5 years you will find our politicians hip hop from chama to chama, depending on the one
What
which suits them
Yeah.
at that particular time. Even right now, they are hip hopping all over the
Selfish
place.
interests.
Selfish interests. So tribalism is being used. It's not. Yes, it is a problem, but it's not the reason really we will have post-election violence. It is people who will use that tribalism to now just spark rage and anger.
To fulfill their own interests.
To fulfill their own interests. So let us keep that in mind, as we do not. You can hear what Moses said. His father owned 2 schools. He worked in a mining company which mined gold and diamonds.
And at an instance, they're all gone.
Exactly. So in the same way, you think you have money now, that money will not help you at that time.
That politician you'll be fighting for will be nowhere to be seen.
If they are not here for us during Corona,
What do you think?
they are going to be there for you during violence. Think again.
Tapambana.
Tapambana na hali
Peke
yako.
yako.
Don't accept to be used
Yeah.
Kabisa.
on tribal basis.
Yeah. As Kenyans, we pride ourselves in being good hosts. We used to pride ourselves in having peace. We are a peaceful nation. And then 207 happened, and then whoa, so we now pride ourselves in being hosts because we have good hosts. Because apart from foreigners coming in, we have hosted several refugees from several countries: Rwanda, Burundi, DRC, Congo,
Ethiopia.
Somalia, Ethiopia, South Sudanese refugees. What can you say about Kenyans as refugees? Are we blowing our own trumpets? Are we being honest with ourselves? Are we really as good as we say we are? Or tunajichocha tu?
I came here when I had no these bills. Now I'm a man. And all those years, I have been here. I don't remember ever fighting with anyone, quarreling with anyone on any basis. On the contrary, it is Kenyans who accepted me the way I was and made sure that I'm comfortable. Now, if that is done to others, then it is true that Kenya is always a home away from home for everyone. That's what I can say on my part. Kenya is a home away from home for me. I can say Kenya is really leading. Even if the world have got other name tags, okay? Yes, there are those names that we are tagged as Kenyans, which are not very pleasant to hear.
But we strive to do the best.
Yes, but on my part, I can say Kenya is doing well, and they should keep up in welcoming visitors and hosting them.
Well, thank you so much, Moses. We appreciate that you took your time to be with us and share your story with us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. May God bless you.
Thank you.
And that's it, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Yes, people, watch, like, subscribe, comment.
And share. Don't keep
share.
all this niceness to yourself.
Yes.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean.